Hmm. Welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show, where we learn to live a kick-ass rebel life. I'm your host, Lisa Loree, the Rebel Ballerina. There's no farting around in this show, just straight up fun. But if your ears are sensitive, go ahead and move along. If you want a truly kick-ass life, well, then here we go. Hello and welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show. I'm Lisa Loree, your host, and just to start today, a little rant. I'm cold and I hate cold. And anyone who knows me knows how much I hate cold. So I just have to share with you something that my kids gave to me because this, whoa, I'm so freaking cold. It's hard to do with the without it bleeding through. We are having our first day of actual winter. I'm dating this now. Try not to do that so much, but you can tell just by what I'm wearing what the temperature is pretty much. But we are in the middle of October and having some winter, and I'm lamenting. Just gonna say. Anyway, completely off topic, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. And it's raining, which is very odd for Southern California. So there's that too, which we need. We need the rain always. So, what about today? What's going on today? You know, I was just having a conversation about, well, narcissists, because let's face it, we have that group and then you have us, fawns, and we are the primary targets of said narcissists. So it's a very pertinent topic and we must understand what's going on. But before I get into all of that, check out my ebook. Look for the link below. And I also have this handy dandy thingy that it's for all of us fawns who really want to be able to make a difference in your own life and then have that difference take place for your kids and help them to avoid a lot of these pitfalls that we've already been having to deal with as adults. And there are many. There are many. If you are like me in any way, you've lived a lot of them. And that's one of those things I wanted to talk about today. I don't normally like to spend a lot of time on the narcissistic side because we have been getting a lot of information over the past 10 years. It's been much more revealed about who these folks are and what they're, basically perpetrating on those of us who are easy prey, the fawn, easy prey. And one of the things that I realized in talking to some friends and also my boyfriend, who also came out of a narcissistic marriage, that these folks are actually quite calculated. And I find it really interesting. We tend to be somewhat calculated too, in the sense that we're trying to figure out what's going to appease. So we have to be on guard. We have to be thinking. We have to be reading the energy, right, of who it is we're dealing with. So growing up in an environment where you're walking on eggshells, where you always feel like you're not good enough, so you're constantly striving for that perfection or that acceptance and that affirmation from your parents, and you're not getting it, or from one and you're not getting it, then it brings about this whole pattern, this whole life pattern of being a fawn. And on the outset, it looks like we're good, and we are. And that's the thing. We are good people. We're giving, we're caring, we're empathetic, peaceful, we want harmony. Those are all really good things, and goodness knows we need a lot of that all the time in our family, in our community, in our bigger area in the world, right? All of those things are really good. The problem is when we feel compelled to be those things, or to people please, or to keep the peace in however we need to, at our own expense and out of fear. That's when you see this being an actual trauma response pattern rather than just some really great personality traits. We're already good. As a matter of fact, I truly believe we all arrived here good. I really believe that we came fresh from the universe. We are full of love and excitement and joy. And it's hard to see that in an infant when they're screaming because they're hungry. But truly, all that's all that we need and all the goodness that we should be is there. We come that way out of love. But different circumstances, different traumas, and styles of parenting, and then you've got societal stuff as well, teachers, belief systems, all of these voices telling you, okay, you have to be this way. No, now you got to do it that way, and you did and get in this box. And before you know it, kids who on their own are pretty fun, happy, they want to play, they want to explore, they're curious, they have imaginations, they have dreams, and all of this fun excitement about life, right? You ever notice when you start to see things from a child's eyes? As parents, part of the fun of being parents is getting to relive that. Well, why are we reliving that? Oh, I missed my elbow. Phew. Why are we even reliving that? What does that say? Well, that it was lost. Why? Why did we lose that? Well, because of all of that stuff I just mentioned. It's all oppression. It's all like, squish that out of you. You want joy? What do you think of that? That's pretty much what happens. Unless you have a super, super healthy situation, which I do believe exists, but I think it's more on the rare side. It's unfortunate that the norm is trauma. And a lot of that gets cycled over and over and over again through these different behaviors. So when you have a narcissistic person in the mix of your parenting, or maybe it's both of them, then there's an issue, and that just can perpetuate either the narcissist or the fawn, and I know there's freeze and flight in there as well, but I see it as a pretty stark difference between the two major: fight, meaning narcissistic, and fawn, the people pleasers. And so it's really sad when you think about it. It's truly sad that as adults, we've had so much of our goodness and our fun and our joy and our imagination and dreams all squished out of us through these different means and these different voices. And then those voices play over and over on the KLIE playlist and perpetuate the problem into adulthood. So that's how I see that dynamic at work. And then you have on the other side the narcissistic type person, and they have their own KLIE playlist going, and they're carrying that into their adult lives. And we are at odds. The problem is, we fawns, we don't know that's what's going on. We have no idea. I had no idea. I didn't discover any of this until I was over 50 years old. I mean, that's insane. I spent 5 decades on this planet, and a good portion of that very depressed because I couldn't figure out why my life was the way it was when I had done everything right. I was a good girl. I did what I was told, right? I was doing everything that I got in the box, man. I got in the box. I stayed in the box, whatever box you want to call it. Societal, religious, whatever anybody else had as a design on my life. Instead of me being able to listen to my own self, my own intuition, and my imagination, and my dreams. I spent so much time. I would say, on one hand, you could say I wasted my time. But on the other hand, I went through a lot of stuff and it built a lot of contrast. So now that I'm on this side of things, now that I have the understanding I have now of the actual mechanisms at work, and I go, oh, well, now I'm actually living the life that I really want. And it's way more fun, joyful, peaceful. I have peace with myself, harmonious with others, my dreams, living them again. It's just fun. It's finally fun. So I tease because I'm like, I have the essence of a kid, right? So I'm like 5. I'm 59 going on 5. And I love it. And I'm not going to change it. I'm not doing that again. I'm not walking backwards. I am full speed ahead forward and enjoying every part of this going forward. So it's not like I'm so like, oh, it's all over there. It's all over there. And I'm like, in the meantime, no, this is fun. I'm having fun getting over to there. I'm having fun getting back on stage. I'm having fun putting all this together. I'm having fun having learned all of this and being able to share it with you in hopes that you'll be able to rebel right along with me. And let's turn it around, right? Because here's the thing, I am able to relax in life. It's amazing. Like, I can relax because, one thing, I am no longer with a narcissist, so I don't have to walk on eggshells. And my home is peaceful. My kids live with me, and I love it. We're having a good time, and there's just it's good. I'm not like, am I like causing problems? Am I making someone upset? Or not really. We're just living. And it's just so much more fun. My boyfriend, way, 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 way different. So different. I mean, 1 in a million, I tell you. Anyway. It's just fun because we have so much fun together, and I don't feel that cringe. I don't have to walk on eggshells around him. It's amazing. I don't think he has to with me either. We're just being. And that's what's so cool. We're just being. And I was thinking about it because we were having conversation and other conversation I've had with some friends recently, and describing what it was like with my ex, especially during the divorce, and what he did with our kids, sending them away at this horrifying behavior modification program guised as a boarding school, which also just so happened to evaporate all of our assets like 401k and all of that, just to make sure I didn't get anything financially from the marriage. And that, a friend of mine was like, wow, that's calculated. And that was the first time, I mean, I knew that, but to have someone actually use that word was like, yes, that was very calculated. And it got me thinking, what a stressful life. I know that there's a theory that those who are in the narcissistic pattern will never change. And I agree with that. Don't even bother, because they won't. And they're so entrapped by their own delusion that that's like near to impossible. And that's why they don't go to counseling. Oh, they'll go to counseling. Like my ex went to counseling with me because it was to fix me and my problems. It had nothing to do with what maybe he contributed to this whole thing. No, 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 no. There was none of that. It was all about fix her, and then we'll have a good marriage. Does that sound familiar, maybe? Oh, sure, I'm willing to go to counseling. I think we should do that, blah, blah, blah. And you get there, and it's all about how wonderful they are and how you're the problem. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, believe me, I am not saying that he was the total problem. That's not what I'm saying. I definitely did my stuff. It's part of my rebellion. But anyway, because I had to get out. So in these conversations, I realized there's so much calculation going on. Like, for instance, when I told my sister the first time on the phone, because we live in different areas, so I called her and said, well, I'm getting divorced. My sister's first reaction was feeling bad for the kids. She was like, oh, your poor kids, because it's just horrible. It's a stressful, horrible time for kids to have to go through. And I know, because I went through it too with my parents and with their separation. But as soon as she finished that, oh, poor kids, she went, well, thank God. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, he's horrible. And then she starts just listing off all these different occasions of this and that and the other. And I was like, I had no idea those things were going on. I had no idea. So that begs the question, why would I not have an idea? And I know other people who have been in situations, not even necessarily with a spouse, but with a friend or business partner or, a different family member. And you come to find out, and it's like, how did I not see that? How did I not know that? How did I not know? How did I, speaking of myself now again, how did I not know the shenanigans he was doing with my sister and her family? Calculated. That's why. It was calculated. None of that was done in front of me. So if it's not done just out of natural, like, you have to always be calculated. So on the one hand, that's what I was saying, it's so stressful. I can't imagine having to live like that, where you have to be calculating so you know how to manipulate and how to do this and that. But you got to be careful, because you don't want that other person seeing you, because then they'll be on to you, blah, blah, blah. And that might cause problems. That might make them go, hey, wait a minute, I see a red flag here, right? They have to constantly be thinking of all of this all at the same time. So there's the huge stress for one thing. They can't just relax and be. They have turned away from their goodness. So they can't just relax and be good. Everything is a calculation, which makes me wonder, is this something they really do know subconsciously? They know that they're pieces of shit? I just wonder. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see some real research, but the hard thing is it's hard to research narcissists because they don't seem to step up for such things. Look, hi, I'm so and so, and we are looking for narcissists to be part of our research. Do you think any of them are? Oh, that's me. Sure, I'll be part of your research. That doesn't happen. Just like they don't think that they need any help. That's why they don't go to counseling for themselves. Or if they do, it's like, I know someone in particular who's been in counseling for like decades. Really? You're still in counseling after decades? What the fuck? Come on, get real. And that's the problem. They can't get real. That's my whole thing. That's what I'm wondering. Do they understand that they really are this bad? And that's why they can never just be. They always have to be calculating. Because if they could just relax and just be, why didn't some of that stuff take place in front of me? Why was it always hidden? And see, my sister never mentioned any of it to me because she thought I was happy. Because I played that part so damn well, I should have an Oscar on my mantle for the role of happy. Because this is what I would be like in front of everyone. I'm fine. I'm happy. And I wasn't. I was dying inside, literally dying inside. And I'm wondering if that's happening with you too. If you're being so dismantled bit by bit of your own person because someone is telling you how to be and you have to be this and you have to do that for whatever reason. And it doesn't even matter who it is. It doesn't matter. Because if you're being told that you're not okay to be you, to be that good person, to live your dreams, then something is very, very wrong. And I didn't see that for myself for a seriously long time, as I just talked about. And my sister, she couldn't stand my ex. Neither could her husband, and neither could their boys. Even when the boys, my nephews, were young, they'd say, "Oh, is he gonna be there?" And they'd say, "Well, yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't wanna do it. We don't wanna go." Whatever the situation was, to get together. I think that's pretty sad. Super sad. And so they thought that I was happy. They didn't understand it because my sister was like, that would not fly with me ever. So I didn't understand what was going on that was being hidden from me and how my ex was behaving in a very calculated manner and how he would control them even in their own home. And yeah, it was just really amazing. And then it just really hits home again how sad. It is sad. And I have a little bit of compassion because I'm a fawn. I am a fawn, but now I'm a rebel fawn. And I can have compassion and I can say, wow, that's sad and feel bad for that person. But because I'm a rebel, that's where it ends. I'm not doing anything to try to help or even have any kind of anything with that person anymore. there's no need, and nothing is going to come of it, even if I tried. The only thing that would happen is that I would regress and I would start feeling bad because then there would be some kind of guilt thing going on. So I'm being made to feel guilty because I feel compassionate for someone who is never going to change and is always going to be trapped in that cycle or in that pattern of being manipulative and calculating. And so calculating, that's just a good word. It's a different word than manipulative or manipulating. I think it is a little bit more, there's a zing to it, calculated. So is there someone who's calculated in your life that you can start to go, wow, yeah, there's some things that do seem to be calculated. Like I am being manipulated, but it's so very purposeful. Well, what's behind that? Why are you being in that position where you're being calculated against? If you're a fawn, maybe it's time to step up and be a rebel instead. Become a rebel fawn because it's doable. See, that's the cool thing. You want to feel that joy and that bigger than life thing. That's what I started talking about. And then I went off on this other tangent, but two things I was talking about today. That feeling of absolute wonder that as adults we live again through our children, and it makes like Christmas fun again, right? Because the way your kids view all the wonder and the fun and everything that's exciting, the new thing that they're seeing for the first time, and it brings it back to how much we've lost as adults, and we get so cynical and jaded. Now that I'm on this side and I see the contrast, oh, I love being a kid. I love having the attitude of a kid where things are joyful and full of wonder again. And life is amazing. I used to hate life, literally with a passion. I would be pissed off when my eyes would open in the morning again, and I was still here. It irritated me. I literally would curse. That's how I would start my day because I hated where I was. I hated my life. And now it's like so full of joy and excitement. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, whoa, I'm still here. I still get to do something I love. I still get to dance today. I still get to be with people I love and not have to walk on eggshells. And I get to uh, enjoy things, and everything is so much more savory now. And I don't need a small child to remind me of what my adult life is supposed to be like. I get to live it now. I'm picking 59 years old, going on 5. And I love it. And I want that for you. I want you to be able to have that kind of joy too. So check out my ebook. That's a great place to start because there's a lot of good information in there that I have like gone over. It took me nearly a decade to figure this stuff out, and a lot of trial and error and just time to find it. And I've distilled it down, um, starting with this ebook to give you an idea of what's really going on and the fact that you can change where you are right now. You have all the power in the world to do exactly what I've done. This is not magic. It's available for everybody. So if you're ready, let me know what you're thinking. If you have some similarities that you're finding, you're like, whoa, I've never heard anyone talk about this before. How come you're talking about my life? because that's how I felt when I was reading Pete Walker's book, Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving. I was like, what the heck? Is he like following me around? How did he know this? It's the first time I ever knew someone could see what was really going on. So let's join together. Let's rebel. Have a ton of fun in the process. It's way more fun. And go about your days with joy and peace and relaxation, because you're not having to worry about who you need to please. And it's so exhausting. No more of that. Be a kid. Let's be kids. Be a kid today. Find something you could be a kid about and tell me about it. And then I'll see you again soon.